Hi, my name is Hitohan Obasoan, the creative director and CEO of Hitohan's Couture Limited. It's a clothing company, and so far so good. It's been 8 years I've been in operation, and I would say really looking back 8 years and now, it's been a good growth. Taking you back 8 years ago, I started mine as not just what I feel like doing or because I saw other people doing it and I decided to go into fashion. Mine was actually a call, and I would say it's actually a call from God, because whatever God guides you in, you find ease in doing it. So for me, designing has always been an ease. It's something I know is an inbuilt image that I just felt, whenever I design, I feel happy. I can stay all day and don't even eat any food and just be designing. For me, I'm okay for that. 8 years back, mine was a call, and the call was actually being passed through my dad, who just woke up one morning and said, Hitohan, you have to go learn fashion. So for, like 8 years back, you all will agree with me that anybody going into fashion then, they just believe, oh, this person is dull, this person doesn't want to go to school, because then acquiring, any skill wasn't paramount then. Everything every youth wanted to do then was just finish your school cert and go to higher institution. But for me, I got my admission in Unilag, but my dad asked me to step down. He said, you have to choose. It's either you go to the fashion school or you sponsor yourself through school. And then I had nobody. My mom was late, so it was just me, my dad, and my 7 siblings. So I had no choice. I had to drop down my admission from Unilag, then went into a fashion school. I actually went to Nike Africana Institute of Fashion and Design. It was a diploma course for 2 years, and I did my IT with Franco Shodi Richard at Soulere, and so far so good. Working with him actually made me, it's part of who I am today. Because sometimes your mentor really matters. Who is behind you? What are you seeing? Even when you're acquiring any skill, you don't just go to a place where everything is just shining and shining. But what is going on in the workshop matters a lot. So for me, working with Franco Shodi actually opened my eye to see what fashion really meant. So it guided me to, see a clearer vision of what I actually want to do for myself. I started mine at 2010, officially 2010. And when I started, where did I even start? Because when I've been saying I started, some will feel maybe she started in one duplex or whatever. I started actually inside my brother's one-room apartment. It was just a self-contained with my sewing machine, which as at then was 8,000 naira. So from there, someone introduced me to, and I was actually inside the cantonment, Ikeja military cantonment, where my brother was staying. He wasn't a military personnel, but he was staying at the BQ. So with my sewing machine, with him and everything, I was still doing my job. And I actually made my first wedding gown inside that one-room apartment. So a friend of hers just, spoke with an officer's wife and said, oh, she doesn't make use of a garage. So the garage is actually big, like 2 sides of the room that I was. And she came to me and said, oh, Mercy, I spoke with someone. I spoke with General Inner's wife. I've told her to give you a garage since she's not making use of it. And I was like, oh, really? Oh, thank you. Then immediately I went to meet the general's wife, and she said, oh, okay. So I was given the garage, and I moved my one machine, did what I had to do, and the place was okay to start business. When I started inside my brother's room, I had just one client. Maybe I'm going to mention her name. Her name was Stephanie Heber. And she actually knew me that I was working with Franco Shodi as a then. But working with Franco Shodi, I wasn't maybe a tailor or whatever. I was just as a personal assistant, and I see to the affairs of the staff to make sure every client's clothes was detailed, was okay for pickup. And that actually helped me. So when she found out that I was no more there, then she said, oh, for the fact that you're working there, do you sew? I said, yes, I sew. And she said, okay, maybe you'll be making my clothes. And that was it. Because leaving Franco Shodi's place, I had like 90% of the customer contacts But I told myself I'm going to destroy that scene because I don't want a situation tomorrow you hear, oh, when she was leaving for Couture this place, she went with all the staff. It was just between me and God. And I said, okay, God, if this is where you said I'm going to flourish, then let your will be done. So I moved to the garage. I was making clothes for just one customer. Then the referral kept coming from one client. Before I knew it, I was counting 100 even inside that garage. From the 100, before I knew it, I was bombarded with loads of fabrics. And I got my first contract was inside that same garage. I got a contract from federal government, which was the Ministry of Sport. I designed the Commonwealth Game opening ceremony for 2010. Then for 2010 and 2012, they did Commonwealth. Then they did the Olympic. I designed the outfits for the opening ceremony for the 2016 Olympic as well. So that actually, before I got that contract, I went to the market one day. I said, oh God, don't I deserve a car? I said, see the way I'm walking, at least if I have a car, going to the market will be so easy for me to buy my linings, buy my threads, and buy my all that. And 1 week I said that prayer, that was when the federal government job came. So I had millions. So the first thing I got from the word I heard was, go get yourself a car. And that was where I got my first car. Then moving on, every stages for me, it has been awesome. Sometimes when I share the story of my growth, and people who knows me like, oh, she's going. From the one room, I got to the garage. From the garage, after the contract, I didn't stay in that garage for up to, if I'm not mistaken, I didn't stay there for up to a year. From there, one thing led to another. There was one small issue with the owner of the place. Immediately, I moved to Okpebi, to a two-room, just two separate rooms. I was using one as a workshop and the other for where to receive clients. And at Okpebi, I stayed at Okpebi for like 2 years. Then 2 years, I moved again. So everybody was like, why do you keep moving? Just stay in one place. I said, I can't just stay in one place because I have a vision. I know what I'm seeing. What I'm seeing, you might not be seeing, so just allow me to keep moving. I'll keep moving till I get to my property. And that property will not come from, oh, someone gave me the money. The work of my hand is going to produce that property. Then from the two-room, I moved to a 4-bedroom apartment at same Okpebi, which was at Salvation. And everybody was like, oh, wow, 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 wow. She's doing well, she's doing well. And I'm like, it's not just wow, wow, wow. You just need to be determined. You need to be focused. From Okpebi, which is the 4-bedroom apartment, I stayed there for barely 2 years as well, 2 to 3 years. Then I moved into a duplex. And of recent, someone asked me that, what has been your motivation? I'm like, every stage, every place I find myself, there's this urge. When I've overstayed, there's this urge I get, and like, I feel restless. Like, you shouldn't be here. You should move. And immediately I'll get a clearer picture of the next level. Every place I did business in, I actually saw the vision. From my room, I saw the garage. From the garage, I saw the two rooms. The two room, I saw the 4-bedroom apartment. The 4-bedroom apartment, I actually saw it clearly because it was all about, oh, I will get a place. I saw a place that I'll have about 15 display of mannequins. And when I got to the 4-bedroom apartment at Okpebi, that was exactly what I did. I had a whole big show glass that I could display up to like 20 mannequins. Then so far so good, as God would do it, I got to that same 4-bedroom apartment. I became nervous to leave. I was, there was one issue to the other. Then I just told myself, Mercy, is it time for you to move? Then I moved into a duplex. And they were like, wow, fashion. Even the day I went to meet the owner of the duplex, and like, what do you want to do there? I said, just fashion. He said, fashion? You just want to do fashion in the whole of this place? I said, yes, sir. Yes, sir. You might call it just fashion, but to me, it's not just fashion. There is more to it than just fashion. I moved into the duplex and everybody was like, oh, wow, 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 it's not too big, it's not too big. For me, I know where I'm going and I know the vision I have. I'm just starting. I've not even gotten half of where, half of my vision, but I can see it coming to play little by little. So far so good for my clients. They've been so good. I've had clients of as old as the day I started the business, so that's to say, yes, I'm actually doing well. I have big shots. Well, unfortunately, I can't mention most of their names. For the number of clients I have so far, I would say it's more than 1,000. Though for the steady ones, I would say about 600 or so. And the list keeps going because every day you keep getting new clients. So we're actually updating as time goes on. If I'm to look back 8 years from each stage that I found myself from the beginning to where I am now, I would say really I have done so well for myself, and God has indeed be grateful.